Served hot, just the way you like it. Here's your weekly serving of food, news, and views. Tim Beeman, Stephanie Hess, and Nikki Miller-Ka are Tart and Tangy Triad.
Hey guys, this is Tim from Tart and Tangy Triad, and I want to talk to you a second about the new website, the one that we've been teasing you with for the last few weeks. It's finally up and ready for your viewing pleasure. It's tartandtangytriad.com. So check it out. Stephanie's going to give you a little blast from the past, or some history, food history if you will, and Nikki's going to give you some preview of next week. Thanks for watching.
Is the government shutdown getting you down? I know times are really hard right now, and I'm here with a little appetizer just to remind you that they have been harder. Kind of a hobby of mine, or an interest of mine, is the Depression era. Kind of between the two world wars and just how people got by in daily life, just a little interest of mine. So this is something I pulled up from about 70 years ago. It was a pamphlet that was passed out in 1943 by the British Food Ministry. Times were very tough in Britain around this time. And this was during rationing, and it was really important to save and conserve your food. I thought these were some really interesting hints that were being passed along. For one thing, cook your vegetables the modern way. Use very little boiling water, shred or slice your vegetables first, and cook them very quickly with the lid on. So they're trying to conserve fuel. Also, using leftover fish or vegetables, make a splendid sandwich filling. Odds and ends of bread can be used in puddings. Use your cheese rind for flavoring sauces. And shred the outside leaves of cabbages and put them in your soup and stew. Also being admonished not to waste their household milk or their dried egg, both of which were being rationed out at the time. So I just thought this was an interesting piece of how people were getting through a really tough time about 70 years ago. So take heart.
Hi, here's some upcoming events that I need to tell you about. First off, on the 12th, on October 12th, at Cranky's Coffee, Airtight Field Guide is having their first ever fall party. They're going to have food trucks, they're going to have beer tastings, there's going to be bands, Jews and Catholics are going to be there. No, not the religious group, but the band. And there's going to be Suitcase is going to be there. So many people. It's going to be so much fun, but especially the food truck, because you know how we all love our food trucks. So you can get more information about Airtight Field Guide at fieldguidewsnc.com and go to the event at Cranky's Coffee located at 311 East 3rd Street here in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Also coming up next week, next Tuesday, on October 15th is the next Dish Crawl Winston-Salem. So we're going to be falling for Dish Crawl because it is fall. And as you guys heard 2 weeks ago on Tart and Tangy Triad, Chef Mark Groman from Meridian, that is going to be the third stop. And also, it's been revealed online that one of the stops is going to be the Tavern at Old Salem. And then there's 2 mystery stops. So you can go to dishcrawl.com / Winston-Salem and get your tickets. Tickets are $45, but for Tart and Tangy listeners, you can get $10 off. But how do you find that code? If you listen to last week's podcast, you can find out what the code is so you can get $10 off. I'm going to be dish crawling, so hopefully I'll be able to see you there too.
The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are solely those of the contributors and are not necessarily shared by our distributors or hosting company. This podcast is copyrighted and cannot be reproduced without express written consent of such and such limited Inc.
Yeah, girl.